Good morning everyone. Basa na ng Bible guys. Judges 4:5-6 and Luke chapter 4 verse 31 to 44. Judges muna tayo. Chapter 4. Third period, Deborah and Barak. Deborah. After Ehud died, the Israelites once again did evil in the eyes of the Lord, so the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, a king of Canaan. Who reigned in Hazor. The commander of his army was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Hagoyim. Because he had 900 iron chariots and had cruelly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years, they cried to the Lord for help. Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at the time. She held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim. And the Israelites came to her to have their disputes decided. She sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go take with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun, and lead the way to Mount Tabor. Our Lord Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops, to the Kishon river, and gave him into your hands. Barak said to her, If you go with me, I will go, but if you don't go with me, I won't go. Very well, Deborah said, I will go with you. But because of the way you are going about this, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will hand Sisera over to a woman. So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh, where he summoned Zebulun and Naphtali. 10,000 men followed him, and Deborah also went with him. Now Heber the Kenite had left the other Kenites, the descendants of Hobab, Moses' brother-in-law, and pitched his tent by the great tree in Zananim near Kadesh. When they told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera gathered together his 900 iron chariots and all the men with him from Harosheth Hagoyim to the Kishon river. Then Deborah said to Barak, Go, this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you? So Barak went down Mount Tabor, followed by 10,000 men. At Barak advanced, the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and armed by the sword. And Sisera abandoned his chariots and fled on foot. But Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim. All the troops of Sisera fell by the sword, not a man was left. Sisera, however, fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, because there were friendly relations between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the clan of Heber the Kenite. Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid. So he entered her tent, and she put a covering over him. I'm thirsty, he said. Please give me some water. She opened a skin of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him up. Stand in the doorway of the tent, he told her. If someone comes by and asks you, Is anyone here? Say no. But Jael, Heber's wife, picked up a tent peg and hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep, exhausted. She drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died. Oh. Sa verse 22 tayo. Barak came by in pursuit of Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him. Come, she said, I will show you the man you're looking for. So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with the tent peg through his temple dead. On that day God subdued Jabin, the Canaanite king, before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelites grew stronger and stronger against Jabin, the Canaanite king, until they destroyed him. Chapter 5 na tayo. The Song of Deborah. On that day Deborah and Barak, son of Abinoam, sang this song. When a prince in Israel take the lead, when the people willingly offer themselves, praise the Lord. Hear this, you kings, listen, you rulers. I will sing to the Lord, I will sing. I will make music to the Lord, the God of Israel. O Lord, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the land of Edom, the earth shook. Pumipiyok na tayo. Wala eh. The earth shook, the heavens poured, the clouds poured down water, the mountains quaked before the Lord, the one of Sinai. Before the Lord, the God of Israel, in the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the roads were abandoned. Travelers took the winding paths. Village life in Israel ceased until Deborah arose a mother in Israel. When the just new God's war came to the city gates, and not a shell despair was seen among 40,000 in Israel. My heart is with Israel's prince, with the willing volunteers among the people, praise the Lord. You who ride on white donkeys, sitting on your saddle blankets, and you who walk along the road, consider the voice of the singers at the watering places. They recite the righteous acts of the Lord, the righteous acts of his warriors in Israel. Then the people of the Lord went down to the city gates. Wake up, Deborah, wake up, break out in song. Arise, O Barak, take captive your captives, O son of Abinom. Then the men who were left came down to the nobles. The people of the Lord came to me with the mighty. Some came from Ephraim, whose roots were in Amalek. Benjamin was with the people who followed you. From Machir captains came down. From Zebulun those who bear commanders' staff. The prince of Issachar were with Deborah. Yes, Issachar was with Barak, rushing after him into the valley. In the districts of Reuben, there was much searching of heart. Why did you stay among the campfires to hear the whistling for the flax? In the districts of Reuben, there was much searching of heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan, and then why did the linger by the ships? Asher remained on the coast and stayed in his coves. The people of Zebulun risked their very lives, so did Naphtali on the heights of the field. Kings came, they fought, the kings of Canaan fought at Tanak by the waters of Megiddo. By the carried off no silver no plunder from the heavens, the stars fought from their courses. From their courses they fought against Sisera. The river of Kishon swept them away, the age-old river, the river Kishon. March on, my soul, be strong. Then thunder the horses' hoofs, galloping, galloping, go his mighty steeds. Curse Bruce, said the angel of the Lord, curse its people bitterly, because they did not come to help the Lord against the mighty. Most blessed of women, Bejael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, most blessed of the dwelling women. He asked for water, and she gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nibble, she brought him curdled milk. Her hand reached for the tin pig, her right hand for the workman's hammer. Ang galing ng babae lang yung pumutay. She struck Sisera, she crushed si Jael. Ang galing. Wife of Heber. He asked, dito na tayo sa 26 guys. Her hand reached for the tin pig, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera, she crushed his head, she shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he sank, he fell, there he lay. At her feet, yung, narinig niyo yun, yung chan ko. Inom ulit tayo tubig. Pahinga muna tayo. Dito na tayo sa 26. Her hand reached for the tin pig, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera, she crushed his head, she shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he sank, he fell there, he lay. At her feet he sank, he fell where he sank, there he fell dead. Through the window peered Sisera's mother. Behind the lattice she cried out, "Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why is the clatter of his chariots delayed?" The wisest of her ladies answered her. Indeed, she keeps saying to herself, "Are they not finding..." Wait, may piyok na tayo. Pasensya na sa boses. Are they not finding and dividing the spoils, a girl or two for each man, colorful garments as plunder for Sisera, colorful garments embroidered, highly embroidered garments for my neck, all this as plunder? So may all your enemies perish, O Lord, but may they who love you be like the sun when it rises in its strength. Then the land had peace 40 years. Then the land had peace 40 years. Chapter 6 na tayo, guys. Fourth period, Gideon, Tola, and Jair. Gideon. Again the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them. Ano ba yan? Yung tiyan ko, maaral na. Kakainis. Ay, nako. Ganyan talaga, guys. Pagkainom ka tubig, kulog. Tapos mamaya, ginhawa ka na. After ko magbasa nito. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes, chapter 6 na tayo, ha? Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites. Because the power of Midian was so oppressive, the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in mountain caves, and strongholds. Whenever, ano ba yan? Ang lakas pa naman, parang kulog. Ano muna tayo topic, guys? Pahinga ba? Dito na tayo sa chapter 6, verse 3 hinto, ha? Sandali. Ayaw tumigil ang tiyan ko, eh. Sarap. Sarap ng tubig. Verse 3. Whenever the Israelites planted their crops, the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern peoples invaded the country. They camped on the land and ruined the crops all the way to Gaza, and did not spare a living thing for Israel, neither sheep, nor cattle, nor donkey. They came up with their livestock and their tents like swarms or locusts. It was impossible to count the men and their camels. They invaded the land to ravage it. Midians so impoverished the Israelites that they cried out to the Lord for help. When the Israelites cried to the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet who said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. I snatched you from the power of Egypt and from the hand of all your oppressors. I drove them from before you and gave you their land." Ang pangalan ng prophet. I said to you, "I am the Lord your God. Do not worship the gods of the Amorites in whose land you live." But you have not listened to me. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash, the Abiezrite. Ang hirap talaga bigkasin yung mga pangalan, guys. Where his sons Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." "But, sir," Gideon replied, "if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Or are all his wonders that our fathers told us about when they said, did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and put us into the hand of Midian. The Lord turned to him and said, go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you? Am I not sending you? But Lord, Gideon asked. At least ito maangal. Ito yung mga gusto ko eh. Nagre-reklamo. Reklamador ba? But Lord, Gideon asked, how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. The Lord answered, I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites together. Gideon replied, if now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that it is really you talking to me. Please do not go away until I come back and bring my offering and set it before you. And the Lord said, I will wait until you return. Hala, yung tiyan ko, nagre-return din. Umaangat talaga. Ay, nako. Gideon went and prepared a young goat. Pero masanay na kayo guys. Ganyan talaga yan pagising ko sa umaga. Pag uminom ka ng tubig, ganyan, kulog-kulog talaga tiyan natin. Pero mamaya lang, wala na rin yan. Gideon went and prepared a young goat, and from an ephah of flour he made bread without yeast, putting the meat in basket. Kasi ano yan eh, nililinis yung tiyan mo ng tubig. Kaya yun, mamaya pagka ready ka na yun, wala na rin yung kulog-kulog ng tiyan mo. Every morning lang yan pagising. Basta nakaprogram na yung tiyan ko sa maaga ng cleansing. Gideon went and prepared a young goat. And nandito na tayo sa verse 19. Gideon went and prepared a young goat, and from an ephah of flour he made bread without yeast, putting the meat in a basket, and its broth in a pot. He brought them out and offered them to him under the oak. The angel of God said to him, take the meat and the unleavened bread, place them on the rock, and pour out the broth. And Gideon did so. With the tip of the staff that was in his hand, the angel of the Lord touched the meat and the unleavened bread. Fire blared from the rock, consuming the meat and the bread. And the angel of the Lord disappeared. Minsan gusto kong isipin, mga angel, bakit di na lang kayo makikipaglaban? Bakit kailangan gamitin pa ang mga tao para mamatay? Mga powerful yung angel eh. Diba? Dapat sila na lang, hindi. Parang messenger lang sila. Tigapagsabi lang. And the angel of the Lord disappeared. Kasi guys, kung talagang gusto ng kapayapaan, walang mamamatay na tao. Diba? Sa verse 22. And the angel of the Lord disappeared. Sa verse 22 na tayo. When Gideon realized that it was the angel of the Lord, he exclaimed. Exclaim yung dyan ko, nag-exclaim din. Ayoko na nga. Sovereign Lord, I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. But the Lord said to him, peace, do not be afraid, you are not going to die. So Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and called it the Lord is Peace. To this day it stands in Opera of the abuse rights. Ay, ako. May tig-up na, meron pa sa tiyan ko. Ano pang sounds ang gusto? Ang dami ng sounds, mga unnecessary sounds. Ay, nako. Ganyan talaga guys, ang daming hindrances. Alam mo, nihihinto ako dahil lang sa tunog-tunog ng tiyan ko, diba? So, patuloy. Basa. So Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and called it the Lord is Peace. To this day it stands in Opera of the Abishrites. The same night, sa 25 guys, verse 25. The same night, the Lord said to him, "Take the second bull from your father's herd, the one 7 years old. Tear down your father's altar to Baal, and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Then build a proper kind of altar to the Lord your God on the top of this height. Using the wood of the Asherah pole that you cut down, offer the second bull as a burnt offering." So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord told him, but because he was, piyok na naman, sabi ko sa'yo eh. So, minsan very lucky talaga yung mga magagandang boses, no? Kaya lang tayo, hindi tayo biniyayaan ng magandang boses, kaya tiis na lang sa piyok-piyok rate. So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord told him, but because he was afraid of his family and the men of the town, he did it at night rather than in the daytime. In the morning, when the men of the town got up, there was Baal's altar demolished, with the Asherah pole beside it cut down, and the second bull sacrificed on the newly built altar. They asked each other, "Who did this?" When they carefully investigated, they were told Gideon, son of Joash, did it. The men of the town demanded of Joash, "Bring out your son. He must die because he has broken down Baal's altar and cut down the Asherah pole beside it." But Joash replied to the hostile crowd around him, "Are you going to plead Baal's cause? Are you trying to save him? Whoever fights to him shall be put to death by morning. If Baal really is a god, he can defend himself when someone breaks down his altar." So that day they called Gideon Jerubbaal, saying, "Let Baal contend with him because he broke down Baal's altar." Now all the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern people joined forces and crossed over the Jordan and camped in the valley of Jezreel. Sometimes, no, yung faith siyang dahilan ng pag-aaway-away. Ang katulad niya, no, nag-build lang ng altar. Ano na sila? Mag-argue na sila. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the Abiezrites to follow him. He sent messengers throughout Manasseh, calling them to arms, and also into Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, so that the two went up to meet them. Gideon said to God, "If you will save Israel by my hand as you have promised, look, I will place a wall on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the place and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand as you said." And that is what happened. Gideon rose early the next day. He squeezed the place and wrung out the dew, a blowful of water. Then Gideon said to God, "Do not be angry with me. Let me make just one more request. Allow me one more test with the place. This time make the place dry and the ground covered with dew." That night God did so. Only the place was dry, all the ground was covered with dew. Father God, pagka ganyan, ikaw na lang kaya makipag-ano sa kanila, makipaglaban. Kasi ang daming nadadami na tao. Ang daming namamatay. Chapter 4, verse 31 to... Katulad nun, yung angel. Powerful ang angel, di ba? Ba't di na lang sila makipaglaban? Bakit kailangan pa mga tao? Tatanong lang. Tanong lang po, reaction lang din. Verse 31 or 31 to 44. 28 ng March 2021. Excuse me, nagtigab ako. Sabi ko sa inyo, huwag niyo nang pakinggan yung unnecessary sounds. Isipin na lang natin na sa meditation tayo, yung mga sound na kulog-kulog-kulog na yan. Jesus teaches with authority. Then he went down to Capernaum, a town in Galilee, and on the Sabbath began to teach the temple. They were amazed at his teaching, because his message had authority. In the synagogue there was a man possessed by demon and evil spirit. He cried out at the top of his voice, "Ha, what do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come down?" Yala. Haba nung ano ko sa tiyan ko, no? "Have you come down, destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." "Be quiet," Jesus said sternly. "Come out of him." Then the demon threw the man down before them all and came out without injuring him. All the people were amazed and said to each other, "What is this teaching? With authority and power he gives orders to evil spirits, and they come out." And the news about him spread throughout the surrounding area. Jesus helps Peter's mother-in-law and many others. O, nabasa na rin natin tong mother-in-law ni Peter, pinagaling, sa Matthew 8:14-17. Dito na tayo sa Luke chapter 4 verse 38 guys. Ang ano lang kasi, pabalik-balik kasi siya eh. Kaya siguro kung mapal ng ganito kakapal yung Bible, pabalik-balik yung mga sinusulat. Jesus left the synagogue and went to the home of Simon. Now Simon's mother-in-law was suffering from a high fever, and they asked Jesus to help her. So he bent over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her. She got up at once and began to wait on them. When the sun was setting, the people brought to Jesus all who had various kinds of sickness, and laying his hands on each one. So sabi na sa inyo, pag manampalataya lang, lahat ng sakit gagaling. And laying his hands on each one, he healed them. Moreover, demons came out of many people shouting, "You are the Son of God." But he rebuked them and would not allow them to speak, because they knew he was the Christ. Sa verse 42 tayo. Jesus preaches throughout Galilee. At daybreak, Jesus went out to a solitary place. Hala, mag-alas 6 na. Bilis na guys. Matatapos na rin naman tayo eh. At daybreak, Jesus went out to a solitary place. The people were looking for him, and when they came to where he was, they tried to keep him from leaving them. But he said, "I must preach the good news of the kingdom of God to the other towns also, because that is why I was sent." And he kept on preaching in the synagogues of Judea. Okay guys, bye everyone. God bless.